Hey, what's going on, my people? This is your host, Blanc Eating with Black Trending News. So tonight we're going to get into the Dave Chappelle video that went viral. He responded, or his team responded, and this is a report from the New York Post. Right, so on Monday, this past Monday, Dave Chappelle went viral. He said something that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. People were offended. People were mad. They were calling him a piece of shit. Pretty much, he threatened to yank his own business ventures, which is a restaurant and a comedy club, from the village of Yellow Springs if it approved a housing plan that included affordable housing. But it was, what he said was just a little more intense. He was kind of throwing out money and all that. And I think that's what offended people. He didn't just go up there, respectfully and speak. He kind of, called the people a clown. He, threw out this $1 million and this amount of money. It kind of took away from what he was saying, the fact that he kept throwing out money. So he threatens and he says, "I'm not bluffing." He lives in Yellow Springs. And if I'm not mistaken, I read that his family also has roots in Yellow Springs. So it's like a long, line history of people living in this town. He told the village council that he is not bluffing. He says, "I will take it all off the table," he added abruptly before walking away from the microphone. Now, following the pushback from Chappelle and others, the council voted to revert to an original zoning plan that excluded an affordable housing component, the report said. The approved original plan includes 143 single-family homes that will cost at least $300,000 each. The revised proposal that was struck down was made up of 64 single-family homes, 24 townhomes, 52 duplexes, and a donation of 1.75 acres from the developer for future affordable housing. Residents opposed to the revised plan raised several concerns, including traffic and water management. This town has under 4,000 people. I don't even think it has 3,500 people in this town. It's very small. There's a lot of famous people that live here, and this probably has a lot to do with why they don't want maybe not just affordable housing here, but they don't want anybody moving in their big corporations and highways and stuff. They want to keep it small. They want to keep the town tight. I get it. I just think that, he definitely said the wrong thing. A source close to Chappelle told the Daily Mail that the comedian supports affordable housing, but actually opposes both residential development plans in his hometown. Chappelle also objected to the original plan at a December council meeting. Dave Chappelle says, "I didn't kill affordable housing in Ohio." Okay. He's trying to clear things up, and he did not respond to the post for a comment, comment for request. But there was a statement that was sent to Fox News. His spokesperson, Carla Sims, said the plan itself needed improvements. Dave Chappelle didn't kill affordable housing. Concerned residents and a responding village council killed a half-baked plan which never actually offered affordable housing. But it goes along to say here, Chappelle told the Yellow Springs Village Council, "I cannot believe you would make me audition for you." So that is what he said. Again, what I mentioned earlier, him throwing money around, it kind of came off snobbish to some people. How dare you, do this when I'm spending all this money, investing money in this town? When I think most people would say it's bigger than that. Definitely. I really feel like he could have said it differently, However, the clip of Chappelle delivering his controversial ultimatum made the rounds on social media, with critics saying the comedian was using his star power to squash affordable housing options in his community. It comes on the heels of a separate controversy when he had mentioned something about the trans community. So, it's people are just really dragging him. Says here, neither Dave nor his neighbors are against affordable housing. However, they are against the poorly vetted cookie cutter sprawl style development deal, which has little regard for the community, culture, and infrastructure of the village. Yes, this is a village. That's another thing I wanted to mention. This is not even like a city or a town. It's classified as a village. And again, it doesn't even have 4,000 people that live here. I want to say it has under 1,000 families. In 2020, that was the status of the population. Under 1,000 families live in this village. So it's very small. This would change it drastically. I just think that he could have went about this definitely a different way, and it wouldn't have been such a big deal. So I do see here in December of 2021, Dave Chappelle told the Yellow Springs, Ohio Village Council, previously that he would cancel his planned business investments, including his restaurant and comedy club, if it approved a zoning change to allow a multifamily affordable housing project. The affordable housing had been negotiated between the village and a developer as a condition of approval for its plan to build 143 single-unit homes. And again, on February 7th, he again spoke up against it. So this is not necessarily his first time doing it. They have a right, this is their town, this is where they live, their village, which is even, smaller than a town. They have a right. I just really feel strongly that that probably wasn't his best moment in his career to do something like that publicly in front of millions of people. It came off a really bad way. Now, there are some reasons why people do not want public housing in their area. In the City Journal, it states that in New York City, the sheer quantity of property locked into service as public housing works as a significant drag on the city's economy. For example, in East Harlem, where no fewer than 13 huge housing projects stand, which is the world's greatest concentration of public housing, that city officials once boasted about, has almost no part of the neighborhood escaped this they call intimidating prosperity squelching presence, they state. They say that they're surrounded on all sides by them and they're an eyesore, and that there's an awful lot of runoff, whether crime or drugs, says one prominent property manager whose firm owns 1,300 units in some 60 buildings in the area. He says, if we had even half the number of projects, we'd be the next East Village, with our proximity to Midtown and the number 6 subway train going right through the neighborhood. But East Harlem isn't the only place in New York with an excess of public housing. Gotham has vastly more public housing units than any other city in the nation, nearly 200,000 of the national total of 1 million or so. Chicago is a distant second with 38,000 units. Public housing occupies an astounding 2,500 acres of real estate in New York alone, which is the equivalent of 156 World Trade Center sites, a city within the city. Fear of those who live in housing projects can drive neighbors who can afford it to move. Another drain on urban vitality, since these are often the striving, upwardly mobile people who make neighborhoods flourish. Public housing spawns neighborhood social problems because it concentrates together welfare-dependent, single-parent families whose fatherless children disproportionately turn out to be school dropouts, drug users, non-workers, and criminals. These are not my words. This is from the City Journal. This is the stereotype. This is some fact. I don't think everybody that lives in the projects is the same. But it also says here that these are not, of course, the families public housing originally aimed to serve. But as the U.S. economy boomed after World War II, The lower middle class working families for whom the projects had been built for originally discovered that they could afford privately built homes in America's suburbs. And by the 1960s, they had completely abandoned public housing. Left behind were the poorest, most disorganized non-working families, almost all of them headed by single women. Public housing then became a key component of the vast welfare support network that gave young women their own income and apartment if they gave birth to illegitimate kids. That's what it says here in this article. These are not my words. As the fatherless children of these women grew up and went astray, many projects became lawless places with gunfire a nightly occurrence and murder commonplace. So this, again, this is not my words. This is the outlook that people have about projects, and some of it's true, some of it's not true, right? Tell me what you think in the comment section, everyone. I think Dave Chappelle definitely could have did a better job expressing himself. I think the world believes so. He seemed very serious and very angry. It just came out wrong, and I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this one. Have a good night.